Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make custom deck shapes for Skater XL. So you want to start with a blank Photoshop canvas, 2000 by 2000 resolution. Drag in your reference image and scale it up. Press enter. Use the magic wand tool to select the white. It should work if you have a good contrast between your deck shape and the background. Hold Alt and click on this mask. That'll create an inverted mask. Now we're going to Control click it, Shift delete to turn it black, and we're just going to clean up this mask a little bit by going to selected mask, setting the smooth to 20 and the contrast all the way up. I can press OK, and we've got a good deck shape to put into Illustrator. So we're going to export it as a PNG. We'll call it deck shape. Okay, now we're going to go into Illustrator, drag in deck shape, what we just made. Use the same size canvas or bigger in Illustrator to ensure that you're not losing any quality. Once you've got this done, assuming your mask is relatively well done, you go to image trace, make and expand, OK. And now you have a scalable vector graphics version of it. So you want to ungroup, get rid of the white background, and now you have just your deck. So you want to move it to the center of the screen. It will snap if you just drag it around like that. Press M for the rectangle tool, drag a rectangle and it'll snap to the middle. Open up your Pathfinder if it's not here, go Window, Pathfinder, select both of them and choose Divide. Ungroup once more and delete everything on the right side. So now when you want to copy this, Control C, Control Shift V to paste it in place. Go to Properties, you want to grab this number, the number that's W, Control C, drag that so it's just slightly, and then you're going to go in here, paste that value, and you can just move it over with your arrow keys. And that should be good. So now you go to File, Export as Scalable Vector Graphics, Deck Shape. Don't worry about this. And now we have our deck shape. So we're going to go open this file called truckwheels.blend that I'll have linked in the description. Open it up. Here we have our deck. So we're going to do File, Import, SVG, wherever you saved it, deck shape. And now we have the deck shape. So we're just going to merge these with Control J. And now we're going to go Object, Convert to Mesh. So now we've got a mesh. And we're just going to clean it up a bit. So we're going to clean up and merge by distance. And press A, select everything. X, dissolve faces. And now do X again and only faces. Now we're just going to simplify this nose part of the deck a little bit. Start with the tail here. Press 1 to go into vertex selection mode. And you want to select everything up to the middle. Press Control X to dissolve. Same thing over there. And then Control Shift B to bevel it one time. Now you go do the same thing on this side. Find the middle. Control X. Control X. Control Shift B. Bevel. Now we're going to fill it in. So we're going to press 4 of these, create a face. Now we select only these two, hold F, and it fills it in for us. Now we have fully quad decks, and we're going to go in, add a couple edge loops, something like this, to make it easier to create the concave. We're going to pull up our reference image, referencing for the concave. You can see there's a slight concave there. Just kind of the edges are lifted up a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to hide the deck, that one, use a selection box. We're going to go into face select mode. For the center concave, we're going to grab a big strip down the middle. And we're going to set this to smooth. Make sure projected from view is turned off. Grab a rectangle about this distance, kind of right after the kickstart. So we're going to turn on proportional editing, smooth. So we're going to look at it from this angle, G, Z, so it moves only on the Z axis. And you can pick a concave that feels right. So I think right about there looks pretty good to me. So now we're going to do the kicks on both sides. So take a look at our reference. Edge select and select these two edges. Make sure you change proportional editing to sharp and projected from view. Now use scroll wheel to change the size of how much it affects. So if it's big, it's going to do massive. So we're going to have a kick, I'd say, just kind of pick what's right or what feels right. I think about there. Feels pretty good. And we're going to take a look at the nose. Pretty much same thing. Right about there. Have a look. See if you think you've done a good job or not. I think that's pretty good. So now we're going to show the template deck. Obviously your board is way too big. So we're going to press S. Drag it down to about the right size. We're basically just going to move it on top. Also helps if you do set order. And you can scale along the individual axes just to make it fit a little bit better. There you go. We're going to put it here. Helps to do this part. So, you want to line this little line up. You want to basically match those together. So, about there. Looks good to me. And we're going to hide the deck. Grab a big face selection. Grab a selection of center-ish. Kind of more, actually more. Yeah, like that. We'll show that deck again. And we're going to turn on proportional editing smooth. You can turn off projected from view. We're going to press G, Z, scroll way down. And you just kind of want to move it. Depends on how your board is, but you just want to make these little grooves here. Now, we're going to press A, so tab to go to edit it, A, and shift D, press Z so it moves along the Z axis. Pick about the right thickness for your deck. It looks about right for me. Press 1, vertex selection, create a singular face, and then select just the 2, hold F, and it's going to loop all the way around. So now we have the basic shape of our deck. We're going to go and hide this again. Edit mode. And we're going to go anywhere where you can see the edge. Press Ctrl R to create a loop cut. You want it so the yellow line circles all around the board. Click. Move upwards. Do it again. And make it so it's approximately the same distance. I want to move this. Make sure you have proportional editing off at this point, by the way. I think I'm going to move that up a little bit. Okay. So you want it like that. Press Alt on one of these squares here, and it'll select every last one. And so you want to go here, press S to scale it, and then we're going to press X to scale it only along the X-axis. And you kind of just want to have it basically bump out a little bit, not that much though. Yeah, like that. And then we're going to go up to the knobs. We're going to press S and then Y. Make it bump out again. Go to edge select mode by pressing 2. Select the edge loops with Alt left click and then Shift Alt left click. And you can press Control B to bevel. You only really need 2 here. Okay. Looks good to me. Yep. So now that it is scaled, we're going to mark the seams for the UV unwrapping. You should be able to use Alt left and Alt Shift left click to select these. So you just want to make sure that the entire part around the deck is selected. You can test that you've got the right spot by pressing G, and it should move basically a full circle around. Once you've got this entire edge selected, right click, mark seam. Now you want to go and do the same thing with this bottom edge. Mark seam again, and I like to do my side split right here. So I'm going to go select this whole edge here, just a line to split it, mark seam. So we can switch over to the UV editing tab. We've got our deck here. We're going to press A, U, unwrap. And if you did it correctly, you should have your deck unwrapped. And create a new material just for the reference for the bolts. Base color, we're going to click this little dot here. Image texture, open, and then go to anywhere in your documents folder where you might have a deck texture saved. We'll use the Milky Pro model one for now. Should do. And we're going to go into the UV tab, open, or actually my bad, we're going to press on this, and we're going to open Milky Pro model. So you can see we have the image, but it's not showing up on the deck, so we need to go into this view, hold Z, press material preview. There you go, it's projecting onto it just very poorly. All we have to do is just move the UVs around. For now, we're just going to move the deck trim off to the side because we don't need that. And these two should match up. We'll just move that one up a little bit, that one down. So now we're going to do the scaling for the graphic so we can zoom in. Press S. Make it as big as possible before it clips off. You can see I'm a little bit off here. You want it to include the most deck, so it might have to stretch a little bit just to fit the most possible. It won't actually be too noticeable in game, so you can see I've got almost the entire deck here. And it's really not too noticeable. Now you can see it is facing the wrong direction still. So we're going to do SX -1. Now, you can see that the milky is spelled out the correct way. So sometimes you just have to twist stuff around just to make it work. Now we're going to do the grip. For this, we're going to turn on the trucks because it becomes a little difficult without it. Turn off deck, turn off wheels. All we need is the trucks so they match up with the bolts. Alright, selected everything. Move up to this and just scale it approximately to what it should be. Obviously though, you can tell right now the bolts are not at all in the right spot. These ones though, we got lucky with. These bolts are in the right spot. These ones need to be slid a bit forward. And these are the ones that are on the side of the too happy board. So we're going to go here, select everything, so you can see it. And we're going to select, make sure we're face select, do a big selection box here. Make sure we have proportional editing on. We're just going to slide these a little bit forward. You want to try not to stretch the grip too much, but it's pretty much inevitable. So we've got the grip, and we've got the deck. Now we just have to do the trim. This part can get a bit confusing, so bear with me here. I'm going to turn off proportional editing to start. I'm going to press SX0, and that will make it flat. So now we have to do this for all of these edges. So now we've got this long flat strip, but it's still not what we need because it's too long to really fully display the texture of the edge properly. So we're going to select as close as we can to half. We press Y to split it so it's no longer connected. And we're going to move it along the Y axis so it lines up straight. We're going to place it on top. And we're going to do that once more. So we're going to press Y, G, Y. So now they are layered. We're going to press G to move, R to rotate, and then Control so it snaps. And you can see here we've got these basically 3 strips of wood that we have to line them up with. So we're going to scale this out and just move it so it lines up as close as possible. Doesn't matter if it's not perfect, it's very difficult to get it perfect. But for this trim part, it's barely noticeable. Move it down to the middle again. Take a look. Doesn't look too stretched out. Looks pretty good. So just like that, we've got a custom deck shape. Once we have all of this done, there's only a few things left we need to get done. So we'll start off by getting rid of all this stuff, leaving us just with the deck. Get rid of these folders too. Now we just have this deck called Curve, which we're eventually going to have to split and rename. So to start splitting it, we're going to turn edit mode on. And we want to press this button. This will keep stuff synced. So if I select that, selects it in the modeling space. So we're going to start by selecting this in face select mode, pressing P with your mouse on the modeling screen, selection, and now you want to select the grip, P, selection, and now we have it split. So now you can see this here. This is the bottom of the deck. So we're going to rename that deck bottom. And rename that deck top. Rename that deck border. And now, if you export this as an FBX, you can get it put into the game. Easy as that. Thanks for watching.